Today I'm going to talk about what, for me, is the most expensive type of recovery: sleep. .35 miles, 8 minutes, 56 seconds per mile, and 144 beats per minute for my run in the morning. Following that up with an extra long hike with the girls, and we had a fun time pretty much with the park to ourselves. Now, this was a pretty big day, but fortunately, I got 10 hours of sleep last night. I'm not really sure how that happened. For whatever reason, after dinner the night before, it was about 7 o'clock, and I just started laying down on the couch and something was on TV, and I kind of just fell asleep with it on, and my wife and the kids all let me just kind of keep sleeping. I woke up at about midnight, so about 5 hours into this, and I felt like pretty awake. After all, I normally get like 6.5 hours of sleep, 6 hours 45 minutes on average, or that's been my average lately. So 5 hours is quite a bit of sleep for me, and I thought, well, midnight's pretty early to be waking up, so I thought I would try to get back to sleep again, see how I could do. I ended sleeping until past 5 o'clock because I didn't set an alarm. I figured I'd wake up super early without an alarm because I wouldn't need all this extra sleep, but turns out my body needed it or wanted it, and I didn't wake up till after 5, which is later than my normal 4 o'clock wake up time. So by the numbers, I got almost 10 hours of sleep, 9 hours and 55 minutes. I was in bed for longer, or like laying down longer than that, at least according to my heart rate. But my actual sleep time was 9 hours and 55 minutes. According to Whoop, that was 100% of what I needed for optimal sleep performance. 22% of my time sleeping was spent with REM sleep, which is what Whoop says is optimal. So good sleep by any means. I won't like say that like the run was particularly excellent because I had extra sleep, or like being able to spend time with my kids was extra great because of the extra time sleeping. And I don't really think sleep exactly works like that, and I'm not so naive to think that it does. But it does make me think about like, you know, what if I could get that much sleep every day? What kind of difference would that make? For example, I did a quick search on how much certain elite athletes sleep, and LeBron James sleeps on average 12 hours a day. I don't think he does it all in one stretch. I think there's naps involved, but he sleeps 12 hours a day. Roger Federer sleeps 12 hours a day, according to reports. Usain Bolt sleeps 8 to 10 hours a day. Part of that is made up with naps. And Eliud Kipchoge sleeps 10 hours a day, usually 8 hours at night, and gets another 2-hour nap during the course of his day. So sleep is obviously important to these extremely high performing athletes, and we've been hearing all over the place that sleep is like the cheapest and best recovery tool that we have available to us, that we're all underutilizing, and we all kind of like buy into that. But for me, I don't think sleep is a very cheap recovery tool. It's actually, for me, one of the most expensive recovery tools because it takes time. And the time is one of the things that I just don't have. It's finite. I can't buy more time. I mean, there's things that you could do. You can buy conveniences to make things speed up. So you might be able to free up more time. But a lot of my time is like in chunks that are kind of immovable. And so I have finite amounts of time where I can make these videos that we're watching now, or that I can go for runs. I try to do those before everyone wakes up in the morning. So like, there are certain things that I just can't move because during the day I got to be doing other things. I don't really have the luxury of taking naps with my current kind of like daily routine. Although I keep trying to get my daughter, my younger daughter, to take a nap. She's at the age where she still could probably use one, but I think she knows better. She's figured out how to avoid taking a nap. So she never wants to take a nap, which means I never get to take a nap. So it's not going to work for me there. And for me, after dinner at night, that's when I usually shoot this portion. For example, this part that I'm filming right now is happening after dinner, after my shower for the evening. And this is when I got to do it. If I don't do it now, I'd have to do it in the morning when there's people normally sleeping in this room. So I can't do that. So I have to do it at night. Then in the mornings, I usually wake up at 4. That's when I do video editing. That's kind of gotta have to happen, because if I don't do it then after I come back from my run, that's when kind of virtual school starts for the day. So sometimes I do bleed into that time in terms of my video edit. If it's a particularly long video, that tends to happen, but I try not to do that as much as possible, so that way I can focus more of my attention on the girls. So for me I was thinking like, here would be a great challenge, a great video to make, spend like a month adding just like 30 minutes more sleep or an hour more sleep every day, to see what kind of impact I think that might have. And it seems like a very reasonable thing to do, but even just the following day after the 10 hours of sleep, I made the winter running essentials video, and the videos like that just take the longest. And I ended up going to bed extra late and having to wake up extra early. And even then I still had to bleed into several hours of morning times where I was like not really giving my daughter, the preschooler, the full attention that she really deserved. So like already after just day 1, I failed. And so like there kind of goes that. I know that trying to improve your sleep performance isn't necessarily you have to be 100% perfect on it. It can be a process. I get that. But for me, sleep is one of those things where I know that I can see lots of improvements if I go down that route, but it's just something that I'm either unwilling or unable to do. And I think that we all have our own most expensive type of improvement tool that we know that if we just did that, we could unlock more progress. But we also have to be realistic with our lives and just kind of come to terms with either I have to be willing to make those sacrifices or pay those prices, or I have to be willing to say, look, for the life that I want to live, I have to be happy with not being able to unlock that last 2 minutes of PR in my marathon, or whatever the case may be. And I don't know if part of that is just the way I grew up on the East Coast. There seems to be like a weird sense of pride in sleep deprivation and just like walking around like a zombie a little bit during the middle of the day. I kind of definitely grew up that way, with that mentality, seeing lots of people that being kind of like their love language, if you want to put it in those kinds of terms. So, maybe it's just something that I need to really unpack or rewire. But for now, it just seems like it's trying to get more sleep is that one area that like I'll do a million other things first before I can regularly add more sleep, just because it's hard for me to see how to get there. Just getting that one night of extra sleep just seemed like such a burden / blessing, because yes, I slept longer and it felt great and it was good for me. My body clearly needed it. But I also felt like that morning's video, which was supposed to be a really quick, short one, so that way I would have more time to work on the much longer video that I had the following day, so I could kind of like shift in some of the work between 2 days. That video then got rushed because I had an hour less time to edit in the morning, and like everything just got shifted. And so time just kept getting borrowed from other places to feed sleep. And I feel like I don't know if it was worth it. That's my ultimate conclusion. And so I think that mentality is probably what's going to keep me from ever really unlocking full potential in regard to sleep as a recovery tool. But that's the thing that I'm okay with leaving that potential progress on the table, because I got to do these other things. I'm sure you guys have them too. I'd love to see what you guys are kind of grappling with, or if maybe I'm just the only one that has this problem. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on it too. Leave them down in the comments down below. Because I can't be the only one, right? So those are my thoughts today on sleep, which for me, I think is a pretty expensive thing to do. I just can't afford it, it feels like. So Thanks so much for making it all the way to the end of this video, everybody, and spending your valuable time watching this video. Hopefully you guys are staying safe out there on your runs, and I'll see you in the next one.
Yo, what's going on?